my seat by 82%. Know this, I am gonna come through on a landslide just like Trump did. Know that I will be victorious.
Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and Thornton Township supervisor, has suffered a significant political setback, marking what many view as the beginning of her decline. Her recent loss in the race for re-election as Thornton Township supervisor during a chaotic Democratic caucus represents a dramatic turning point in her ambitious career. Henyard has long been a polarizing figure, known for her bold assertions of authority and persistent controversies that have marred her tenure. This electoral defeat not only ends her dual leadership role, but also signals a broader shift in the political landscape of the region. Over the years, trust in her leadership has steadily eroded due to accusations of mismanagement, governance issues, and controversial policy decisions that alienated key constituencies. While her supporters praised her as a visionary leader, her detractors frequently criticized her lack of transparency, questionable administrative choices, and detachment from grassroots concerns. The recent Democratic caucus, characterized by vocal discontent and intense drama, revealed the growing dissatisfaction among local political ranks and community stakeholders. Many rallied behind alternative candidates who promised change, accountability, and a departure from Henyard's tumultuous leadership. This pivotal event served as both a symbolic and practical blow to Henyard, whose public image revolved around the notion of being a transformative figure, capable of wielding power across multiple roles. Her failure to secure re-election has left her isolated in a political landscape increasingly skeptical of her leadership. For many, this loss was a referendum on her overall record and suitability for public office. Moreover, this defeat casts a long shadow over her political future, challenging her ability to regain the influence and authority she once commanded. Observers of local politics note that Henyard's fall from grace reflects broader frustrations with leadership styles that prioritize self-promotion over community engagement. This signals a collective demand for leaders who prioritize trust, inclusivity, and transparency. The implications of Henyard's defeat extend beyond her personal career, suggesting a potential shift in Thornton Township's priorities. Incoming leadership now faces the challenge of restoring public confidence and addressing long-standing issues that were neglected during her tenure. As Henyard contends with mounting criticism and a shrinking political base, her supporters are left grappling with a difficult question. Was her vision for dual leadership undermined by external opposition? Or did internal failings ultimately derail her ambitions? Adding to her troubles, Henyard failed to secure a spot on the Democratic ballot for the April 2025 election due to a critical technical oversight. Her slate of candidates for the Thornton Township supervisor position was incomplete. According to township rules, candidates are required to submit a full slate, including a supervisor, highway director, and clerk. This glaring error has further undermined her credibility and emphasized the organizational flaws that plagued her administration. As Thornton Township prepares for a new chapter of leadership, Henyard's story stands as a cautionary tale about the fragility of political power and the enduring consequences of divisive leadership. It highlights the need for public servants to prioritize governance that genuinely serves the community's interests. Ultimately, the end of Henyard's tenure as supermayor is not just a personal setback but a turning point in regional politics, one that underscores the struggle to balance ambition with accountability in public service. Tiffany Henyard's omission of a certified assessor from her slate led to her automatic disqualification in the Thornton Township Democratic Caucus, creating a golden opportunity for state senator and township Democratic committeeman Napoleon Harris. By presenting a complete slate and adhering to the rules, Harris secured a decisive victory in this pivotal caucus, much to the frustration of Henyard and her supporters. This defeat was no ordinary political loss. It occurred during Thornton Township's first caucus in 30 years. Traditionally, the township held primary elections, but Harris's decision to switch to a caucus format was seen by Henyard as a calculated move to edge her out of the race. The caucus, held at the Homewood Flossmoor Park District Auditorium, became a high-stakes political showdown. The venue's 600-person capacity quickly filled with Henyard's supporters, leaving many stranded outside in the cold. This chaotic scene fueled accusations of voter suppression from Henyard, who argued that logistical failures and the exclusion of her supporters rendered the process unfair. The process was terse with Henyard, but after they won the challenge, she and Henyard consented to track down the voters and eventually rendered the process unfair. Henyard's loss underscored the critical importance of adhering to procedural rules, a lesson she learned too late. Harris's successful nomination highlighted his strategic planning and attention to detail, qualities praised by his supporters and credited with his victory. In contrast, Henyard's failure to submit a complete slate raised questions about her organizational abilities and readiness to lead the township. Observers noted that Harris's choice to hold a caucus was a bold political gamble that ultimately paid off. The aftermath of the caucus revealed sharp divisions within Thornton Township's political landscape. Supporters from both sides continued to argue over the legitimacy and fairness of the process. For Henyard, the defeat marked not just a setback but a turning point, ending her dual role as mayor of Dalton and township supervisor. Meanwhile, Harris emerged as a rising force in local politics, ushering in a new era of leadership. The atmosphere during and after the caucus was electric, with tensions spilling over into public discourse as residents debated the merits and drawbacks of the historic process. Henyard's loss served as a stark reminder of the fragility of political power and the consequences of administrative oversights. Harris's victory, on the other hand, cemented his position as a strategic and capable leader, setting the stage for a shift in local governance. As Thornton Township looks ahead, the drama of the 2025 caucus remains a defining moment in its political history. The community, eager to move beyond Henyard's tumultuous tenure, now hopes for restored trust and accountability under Harris's leadership. This pivotal event not only reshaped the township's political dynamics, but also served as a cautionary tale about the importance of preparation and adherence to the rules in high-stakes environments.
For a while, it's like, grassroots. It was organic when a lot of this things started at the township, where the people were, just showing
Tiffany Henyard's public humiliation dominated the evening's discourse, set against a surreal backdrop of longtime Thornton Township residents witnessing an unprecedented political spectacle. For decades, the township's politics had been relatively uneventful under Frank Zuccarelli, who served as supervisor for nearly 30 years without facing serious opposition. However, his passing in 2022 created a power vacuum, and Henyard's contentious rise to the position elicited polarizing reactions. While some saw her as a fresh face challenging an outdated system, others viewed her as an outsider with questionable intentions. Outside the venue, Henyard's supporters wandered aimlessly, their confusion and frustration evident. Many expressed disappointment, claiming her team had assured them their presence alone would secure her victory. The absurdity of the evening was palpable, with one attendee noting that the caucus felt like the culmination of months of tension within the township's democratic structure. "We came all the way out here for nothing," lamented one supporter, reflecting the widespread disillusionment. Reports indicated the auditorium was filled hours before the caucus began, leaving late-arriving supporters stranded outside. Henyard's logistical failures and confrontational demeanor further cemented her reputation as a leader struggling to organize effectively. Napoleon Harris, her opponent, underscored this point, stating, "We want to conduct this in an appropriate and lawful manner," a sentiment that contrasted starkly with Henyard's chaotic handling of the event. While her threat to sue garnered media attention, political insiders expressed skepticism about her chances of overturning the caucus results. One observer remarked, "Losing credibility is worse than losing a nomination. How do you rally support after such a public humiliation?" Even her staunchest allies appeared to waver, with rumors circulating that some close advisors were distancing themselves from what seemed to be a sinking ship. Henyard's brief and visibly agitated 7-minute appearance at the caucus was emblematic of her tumultuous political career. Her rise to power has been marked by ambition, scandal, and accusations of poor leadership. Appointed township supervisor in 2022 following Zuccarelli's death, Henyard simultaneously served as mayor of Dalton, a position she won in 2021 with over 80% of the vote. This dual role earned her the nickname Super Mayor, but also raised questions about her ability to manage both responsibilities effectively. Allegations of financial mismanagement have plagued her tenure. Reports revealed excessive spending on luxury dinners, personal protection, and trips to Las Vegas. Additionally, she was accused of misusing township credit cards for purchases at retailers like Amazon, Target, and Walgreens, including a single-day expenditure of over $4,300 on Amazon. These spending habits drew widespread criticism, especially as Dalton's finances deteriorated dramatically. A review initiated by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot revealed a stark decline in the village's general fund balance, from a surplus of over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of $36 million by mid-2024. Henyard's autocratic leadership style has further alienated constituents. At one village board meeting, she reportedly declared, "You all forget I'm the leader. They want to hear from the mayor, not the trustees." A statement that epitomized her approach and fueled calls for change. The evening's events not only highlighted her personal humiliation, but also underscored the growing discontent within Thornton Township. As the fallout from the caucus continues to unfold, Henyard's political future appears increasingly uncertain. The community's frustration with her leadership has reached a boiling point, with many residents demanding accountability and a fresh start. The night's events served as both a personal reckoning for Henyard and a broader reflection of the township's desire for new priorities and leadership.
One thing to win, but let's do it properly and let the people really have a voice. The people's voice was...
In the lead up to the event, Tiffany Henyard didn't bow out quietly. She launched a last-minute effort to rally support by utilizing Thornton Township vehicles to transport senior supporters to the venue. However, her plan went awry when the buses arrived late, leaving many of her backers unable to enter. This logistical failure became a talking point for her critics, who seized on her apparent inability to organize effectively. Frustrated by the criticism, Henyard fired back, saying, "They just run their mouths. You all don't do any work." Her remarks alienated colleagues and led to frequent clashes with trustees and local officials, creating a tense atmosphere around her leadership. Following her electoral defeat, Henyard was anything but conciliatory, vowing to challenge the caucus results in court. "I will be suing everyone tomorrow," she declared defiantly. Reflecting on her earlier success, she likened her victory to hitting the lottery, but now appeared to face the consequences of her leadership style. Henyard's attorney, Max Solomon, echoed her accusations, claiming the caucus process was rigged against her and manipulated by her opponent, Harris. However, election law experts countered that the caucus system is legal in Illinois and has been used in townships like Dalton for decades. Public sentiment against Henyard has grown. At a recent village board meeting, many residents turned their backs on her as she spoke, a symbolic act highlighting her waning popularity. Although Henyard could still pursue a write-in campaign for Thornton Township Supervisor, her chances are slim. Some supporters remain optimistic, with one ally stating, "I think enough people know her name to write her in, and I believe we could still win." Compounding her troubles, reports suggest the FBI is investigating allegations of financial misconduct within her administration. Subpoenas have been issued for records involving top aides, village employees, and her cancer charity, the Tiffany Henyard Foundation, which is under scrutiny for failing to register with the state and disclose how it allocates donations. Calls for change in Dalton and Thornton Township are intensifying, with many focusing their frustrations on Henyard. Her political future appears increasingly uncertain in the wake of her electoral defeat and mounting controversies. Critics argue her leadership has been marred by poor decisions and a lack of accountability, while a few loyalists claim she is being unfairly targeted due to racial and gender biases. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Tiffany Henyard's tenure as mayor has ended, and her potential comeback faces significant hurdles. Whether she can overcome these challenges or fade into political obscurity remains to be seen. What do you think about the caucus process? Was Henyard unfairly singled out? Could she mount a successful write-in campaign? Share your thoughts below.